Good morning, all, and welcome again to ANC's classes for current affairs. First of all, let me wish you a very wonderful day, and I hope this day will be a great as many days. I am glad that there are a lot of people here to listen to current affairs who believe that there is some changes need to be brought in within. Today's class, I'll start with a motivation and a class of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has said long time back that if you want to shine like a sun, then you should first burn like a sun. I hope it is clear to all. Of course, the more we want to shine, the more we need to success, the more we need to obviously burn, the more we need to work hard, right? And I'm really glad that at this morning of weekend, you are here to listen me, to learn something, to inculcate something within yourself. And I'm sure you will be a leaping ahead in your life. And for that, I congratulate you and wish you all the best. Now, before I start, let me go a bit of revision. What we have done is basically what we are doing in current affairs is we are basically picking a topic, and within that topic we are mapping and linking other stuffs together. Basically our agenda is to link many things under one topic. Like we are trying to find history, geography, political sense, historical evidence, exam point of view questions, and so on. It can be even related to science, it can even related to economy, the same topic, right? Like for example, let us say the topic is on empowerment of women. So when it is to empowerment of women, we all know that at present there are more than 50% of women in the country are anemic because the age which the middle age which is now have been married off in a very early age sometime back. So what happens? So obviously because of that, this all factors will be affected. How? Because what happens is whenever many women are anemic, so it is quite obvious that when women are anemic, the children is going to be anemic too, right? So we have to find the history that from when this is going on. So we similarly it comes to economics. How economics it comes? Because even there is a large percentage of women who are even employed indirectly, but they are not getting paid same amount of money what the male candidate or the subordinates of them of the other gender are getting, right? In the same time, what happen is, in the same time, we need to see what government have taken, what are the government policies that have come up to ensure a minimum standard of living, right? So that is how we are going to link. But today's class, why I have put special affairs? Because basically as you must be knowing that you have got the message that today we'll be going for editorial analysis, right? So as you know, today we are going for editorial analysis. Here basically what we'll be doing is I'll tell you how to do an analysis. Basically, friends, till now, whatever I'm teaching, okay, till now, whatever I'm teaching, I'm quite doing the same thing, analysis. What we are doing is we are carrying the topic and we are finding different links and which may be helpful in terms of exam point of view, right? So you don't have, I don't need to tell something extra, and I did not need to tell you something different over here, because whatever I have been telling in the last two classes, editorial have to be done in the same sequence as well. Now we have to understand one thing. You have to understand in a newspaper, when we go to the newspaper, say this is an editorial page, right? So here there will be a column with a topic, here there will be a column with a topic, here there is a topic. Now under this we have to be smart in selecting the editorials, right? So basically try to avoid political news. I mean, it's up to your interest, but what I have seen over the years is political information doesn't help. I mean, the questions for competitive exam basically does not come more often from politics. It comes more often from the national, international, economic affairs, even science affairs. So when you go for national, obviously science comes into picture. Remember last time we have done on ISRO, we have done on BrahMos. So what this ISRO and BrahMos are basically somewhere related to space science. When we're talking about space science, these two related to space. Now this whole again related to science, and this again in term related to national. Why? Because within national news we are reading this, correct? So when we pick a national news of ISRO, by default we are actually covering national, space as well as science. So what we do is we start interlinking things, right? So that is how you can understand, and that is how we can study this way. So for editorial analysis, I have just picked in one example. Definitely it must be not that clear since I have just copied an editorial of yesterday's. Yesterday in newspaper, this editorial was there in the Hindu. The topic was like, as I told, this is a newspaper. We have different topics in area. So I have picked one topic out of this four. So one topic was formaldehyde, concerns over formaldehyde contamination of fish, right? So then it all begins all, if you can see, all details of topic have been justified here. We have to first, whenever you go through an editorial, first learn of underlining. Okay, the first rule. What you do is learn underlying important things. So the important things over here is Dr. J. Lalita Fisher University, right? They have studied that 5 to 20 ppm of the chemical in fresh water and marine fish in 2 of the city markets, right? Next is Goa reported similar, but its Food and Drug Administrator later said that levels in Goan samples were on par with natural occurring formaldehyde in marine fish, right? And then IRC, International Agency for Research on Cancer. These have labeled this chemical carcinogen in 2004. So here the most important thing is formaldehyde. So what we have to understand is what is the importance of formaldehyde and how it can ruin the food industry. Why? Because fish is one of a staple food in India along with the grains, right? Maximum people, there are many people who are dependent for this fish cultivation, whose livelihood is on stake, How the livelihood is in stake? Because if the rumors goes on that fish have formaldehyde, which have chemicals which can damage human body, then what will happen? The people who are buying the fish will obviously discard it. They won't buy it. If they don't buy it, who's going to affect it? The people who are doing business, running business or cultivation, or doing a cultivation on this particular business, right? So on a consequence, what will happen? The employment will go down, right? Employment will go down. When the employment goes down, what will happen? The revenue generation of the government will. How? Because when the employment goes down, people have less money. When people have less money, the spend will be less. So when the spend will be less, the revenue earned by the government will be less. When the revenue earned by the government will be less, obviously the GDP is going to go down. That is gross domestic production, right? So this is going to be gone down. When GDP goes down, what happens? The economy of the government goes down, right? So this is what we have actually, this is a link which I have made, or this is the hierarchy which I have made from this particular editorial. Now, what I should be doing for exam point of view? Exam point of view, we need to check what is the employment rate of the country in current, what is the GDP of the country, and what is the promising economy, like what is the total GDP earning of a country, what is the current deficit, what is the PPP, and so on, right? I hope you are very much clear that what to do whenever there is a editorial, right? And when you go through the editorial, we need to first find the hierarchy, we need to find the interlinks, as we have done in current affair class. You can do in that way also, like putting one in the center, like putting one topic one topic in the center and then interlinking things, right? So you can do either way. It is up to your choice which one you find it comfortable, right? There is no hardened rule. There is nothing such rule. Okay, this is only one's way of getting comfortable, and it's one way of exploring more and more, so that you can remember things for a long time. Because general awareness is something, this current affairs is something, until if you don't do this regular, so obviously you are going to forget. But when you read newspaper again and again, when you go through again and again relation between US, Russia, relation between US, India, so obviously by default what happens, when every day you are reading US, by default you keep remembering things, that what is the capital of US, what is the president of US, what is the currency of US. So similarly all other things. I'm just citing an example of US, but it can be any other thing. So what happens when we bring this as a habit of studying, we get along with things and things get stored in our mind, right? As I told that if you have to shine like a sun, you have to first burn like a sun, right? So nothing is easy, but it's one's way of achieving things, right? So that's why I have congratulated you in the beginning itself, that you are taking time, you are spending time, you are taking this opportunity to hear and to learn some important facts. So obviously it is going to help you a lot in this coming future of yours, right? So I have described here how the editorials have to be taken. So based on that, what I have done is I have picked only topics instead of picking all this state, because obviously it is not possible that line by line everything it will be visible to you, and it will take a long time indeed. So what I have done is, instead I have picked the topics of the editorial, and which I'll be exploring you, and which I will be justifying you my of interlinking things to that, right? So the topic which I have carried for the first editorial analysis is agriculture investment, time to cultivate a visible hand. This is the topic under which some certain informations were given. Okay, now what are these certain informations which are given in agriculture? So here, what is our point? Our point is agriculture. So when it is agriculture investment, it is something to do with agricultural economics, right? So when it is due to something for agricultural economics, definitely we need to interlink agriculture in this. Like, what is the status of agriculture? How many people are dependent in this sector? What is the contribution of agriculture to our country, and so on, so on, so on, right? We can link n number of things, n number of positive things. Anyway, I'll be talking more on this, but before that, let me do a bit here. What I have done is, like, I have done mention growth drivers. What are the growth drivers for agricultural investment? Demand side driver, supply side driver, policy support, right? So basically, how we are going to, we need to focus the agriculture economic not to focused based on the demand side drivers. For example, say the demand of wheat is always high because it is required as a regular food in India, as well as it is regularly required in the Western countries, where for baking different wheat products, and even for industries for manufacturing different items for of flour which should be made up of wheat. So what it means, it means wheat is more important. It is a demand driven. Similarly, like mushroom is also a demand driven, right? Mushroom cultivation, bamboo cultivation, so those are what, those are our demand drivers. So we need to find the demand side of driver that which have the highest demand, so that when the farmers raise their crop, it is 100% that that particular item should be sold, right? Then supply side driver means when a farmer, we need to support a farmer obviously with raw materials like pesticides, okay, like pesticides. Then we have organic materials, right? So that the fertility of soil, the fertility of soil can be increased. The supply side is basically, the purpose of this is to increase the fertility of the soil, increase the fertility of the soil, as well as to increase the productivity, right? Less area, more crops. And finally, the policy support. Policy support means what government is taking policies. Say, for example, fixing a minimum selling price. So what happened? It ensures a farmer's income, right? And we have increased to 50% of the investment. It means if a farmer have invested 100 rupees, then the minimum selling price will be rupees 150. So that is what it ensures a farmer of a minimum sellable income. Now, apart, what other things I have put over here is population and income growth. Obviously, when the population is increasing, the demand of the crops will be, the grains will be required, and the agriculture products will required will be high. In the same time, the farmers, the day-to-day life, the regular consumable items are getting increased, and so does increases the demand of the farmers. So even farmer deserve this income growth. So this is again the responsibility of the government or the organization and the nation to upgrade the farmers living by upgrading their life, as well as upgrading and bringing a growth of a step of a continuous income with a growth rate, right? Then increasing export, we need to find areas, we need to find demographies, we need to find opportunities where the demand is high in the countries and supply are less. So we can be a boosting factor, we can be a reason, we can be a country where we can be a vital, where it can be vital that we can also export few items of agriculture products. So this indeed will what again help in the help the farmers for a improved growth of income. Then what are related to this growth institutionals like NABARD, NABARD, right? So what is NABARD? NABARD is nothing but NABARD is the organization which who have been a catalyst in providing loans at a very cheaper rates, and basically this bank is dedicated only and only for rural development and agriculture itself, right? Increasing MSPs, as I have told, we have increased the MSPs after MS Swaminathan. The MS Swaminathan plea was obviously adopted. Introduction of new SIMs, further new SIMs have been increased like Kisan Yojana, Krishi Sinchai Yojana, where government is basically trying to reach out to each nook and corner of this country for water irrigation projects, coming up with water irrigation projects like using solar pumps, making water reservoirs so that maximum to maximum farmers can be reached for the yojanas, for the government schemes, right? Opening up export of wheat and rice, as I told, the opening of market, if we have, we'll open at the small levels to the exports. So what will happen, this will encourage the farmers to sell a part and partial of their grains and the crops to the outside country, so that even that will give an added income to them, right? Apart from this, even there we can talk about the schemes which are dedicated to this particular agricultural improvement as well as rural development. Apart from this, hybrid and genetic modified seed, this is a heated debate because since a long time this genetic crop happen in news. Some are in favor that no, genetic crops will improve the growth and productivity, whereas once the other side of the coin, the other side of the society are talking about that still we are not aware of the health consequences that can come up with genetic modified by consuming genetic modified seeds, basically by consuming hybrid seeds. Obviously hybrid, it's a there is no one is clear because no one have a clear idea or no one have a very clear picture of the disease which can happen in hybrid foods or in genetic modified food. So still things are under politics as well as under research. Then the mechanism, irrigation facilities, and green revolution of Eastern India. So when we are going, the topic is this. And see, I have indeed writing in a note. What I have done is I have done with a diagram. So when you fix things in diagrams, what happens is things get remembered for long because this is what you have worked out. When you listen to something, what happened? No, your thinking is somewhere biased with that person. But when you do your own homework, when you do your own research, what happened? The analysis of views remain fresh for you. Say for example, there is a topic given on India and Brazil relations. So what happened? I'll tell, okay, Brazil have done with that, Brazil have done with that, India have done with this, India have done with that. So what happened? You are listening to me for a long time, you get that idea, but don't keep your analysis within myself. You explore more on that. So that is what happened, your mind start working out. And this is the important things which really boost one to outperform in interviews and group discussions. Group discussion is not all about talking good English. Group discussion is actually presenting yourself with a nominal English with a better communication. Again and again, let me clear you one thing. Communication is something where communication is an art where you need to deliver your innovation, you need to deliver your thinking power. And how you are going to think power? Whenever you pick a topic, immediately you link things. And when you start talk first on this, second on this, third on this, fourth on this. You have already made few points on your mind and elaborate those points when you are in a group discussion. And similarly, when you go for an interview, when something is asked on anything related to agriculture, rural development, you can again link things. So what happened? This gives a different credentials in you. This brings a different confidence you and different confidence in you. And when you sit within a group and whenever there is a discussion of anything which is related to agriculture, and here comes, you open up your khajana, right? You open up your locker and come up with all these beautiful things which you have learned so far, right? So this is the strategy of reading or understanding any current affairs or editorial analysis, right? So since it is an agriculture investment, the one of a topic which is been hot in India is doubling farmers income. Basically, government have come up with a proposal to double the farmers income in India by 2022, that is 2022, because this particular is one of our very top priorities of the present government among all, right? However, it is not that easy task, right? Given the challenges faced by the agriculture sector, one of the challenges faced by the Indian agriculture today is the lack of investment. Basically, the investments are very less. Farmers have no proper support, and that is why government is coming up with different policies and different schemes which are not only friendly but are also less torturing. A farmer don't have to run one bank after other. Farmer don't have to run for pesticide from one pesticide bank to other pesticide bank, and so on, so on, so on. There are many more difficulties which have been tried to sort out by amicable schemes, policies, as well as allotting more and more administrative officer in the ground level, in the rural levels. So government have been trying to reach to them. So it is essential to study why and how this farming families should be encouraged. As I have already told that it should be demand driven, it should be supply drivers, and obviously policy support is obviously required, because agriculture plays a very vital role in the Indian economy, right? Because the principal means of livelihood of agriculture is more than 58%. It is more than 58%. More than 58% of the country are dependent on agriculture, and where again in 58% of this agriculture, almost a whole family is working for that particular agricultural land. So the increase in minimum support prices, MSPs, here as I was discussing MSPs. So the increase in minimum support prices, which promises up to 97% increase in return of cost. So as I told that if one is investing 100, so minimum which one should be getting 97% minimum, and obviously an adage government is actually increasing to 50%. So it can become a very important, and when we go on the rapid growth, when we go for investment, like all sector, like service sector, manufacturing sector, we have FDIs, foreign direct investments, right? Foreign direct investments are in FMCG, in IT, and telecom, and airlines, and so on. So why can't there should be an investment in agriculture too? Like all sector, agriculture to depend upon attracting investment for rapid growth. And this demand of investment for farming will be a turning point and can create a different level of uh, growth for the country, for the farmers, as well as for the GDP of the nation, right? So the Ministry of Agriculture estimates that to double farmer income by 2022 or 23, private private investment in agriculture must jump at least 2 times to almost 1,40,000 crores. If, as per the plan of government, if the investment in the agriculture goes up to 1,40,000 crore, then there is 100% possibility, there is definitely a probability that farmers' income will double by 2022, right? And this is one of a rapid growth mark which the government have taken and even encouraged farmers to go little more, right? Because try to understand ultimately why we work. Somewhere end of the day, the basic answer lies with food, cloth and shelter, right? We make a living, basically we earn money to fulfill this basic criterias: food, shelter and clothes. Out of these three, food is very vital, correct or not? Now who is going to give that food? Where the food is going to come from? The food is going to come from agriculture. Now if this agriculture, the way population is expanding, but agriculture percentage is getting reduced day after day, it is not increasing as population is increasing. But what we need now is, the population is increasing, we need more food, but unfortunately the agriculture farmers are reducing in numbers. The reasons are quite obvious. Their lives are pathetic. They don't have a fixed income, they don't have a facility for a good health care. So we have to come up with a solution where we need to find how we can increase this agricultural farming. Because if agriculture farming will be not increased, the day will be not far when people will start killing each other for the agriculture products. Because what will happen, there will be scarcity whenever the agriculture farming will go down, right? So this is the right time to focus on the investment of agriculture. Since the decision to invest within each farming household, an opportunity cost have to be realized. Okay, we have to come up with entrepreneurship schemes. Like there are many people who are coming up with startups. So we have to find areas where startups can also happen in agriculture, so that there should be a competition. And finally, the optimistic point we should come out is the household of farmer who are doing agriculture, they should not leave agriculture, they should not come to cities in search of job. Rather, they should be encouraged to do much and more better farming, right? So those are few things you have to keep in mind. Apart from this, agriculture growth is a private sector, but definitely requires large investment in public goods, proper rural roads, education, research, irrigation, extension, finance, even institution for women's farmer participation should be encouraged, right? Because according to Minister of Agriculture, public investment must grow 16.188% annually. As per the government, the Agriculture Minister says the growth every year should be 16.8%, right? Up from 10%. As of now, the investment is 10%, which should be increased to 16.8%. Then we can achieve the target of this doubling this farmers' income, right? Apart from this, encouraging them to go for other stuffs like other cultivation like bamboo plantation, flower plantation, and rich money plantation, so on, right? So once the ecosystem for enabling agriculture growth strengthens, it is quite obvious the corporate sector with a 2% current share in the overall investment will venture closer to the bottom of the pyramid. They will think to invest in this smallholder linkages of agriculture. When we see the road ahead, there is definitely a high growth in agriculture if we keep all things in mind, because the population is increasing drastically. So does there is a requirement of food, and so does there is a requirement of farmers, and so does there is a requirement of increased food production, but without compromising the quality, right? So it is very, very important for all of us to think positive for the agriculture sector and do on. Now, keeping exam point of view, what we can do is we can come up with important points like what is MSP, right? Full form of MSP can be given, and you will be given choices where you have to choose the correct full form, right? It can be one question. Then Green Revolution of Eastern India. What are the Green Revolution of Eastern India? Genetically modified seed which have been genetically made, like brinjal, right? Brinjal. Then we have mustard seeds. Similarly, when it comes to institutional credit, we have NABARD. So questions can be asked: who is the chairman of NABARD? Where where is the headquarter of NABARD? Right? So those can be questions, exam point of view questions. So what I have done is I have noted few things over here. But before telling that, I must tell that high growth in agriculture springs will ultimately converge profits, knowledge, and power in the hands of smallholder commercial farmers. And if we can empower them, empowering them will rather empower our country, because 58, more than 50, as I said, more than 58% of households are dependent in agriculture. Okay, so despite poverty and neglect, this 58% of farmers somewhere see themselves as entrepreneur. That's the only reason that they are still carrying the profession, and that is why we need to support them, we need to encourage that so that among with them there should be many more people who should be coming in agriculture. Today's youth should involve in agriculture rather than thinking all high technology. We should think we have to come up with a technology. We have to come up with a solution where technology, medical, and education should be combinedly given and combinedly added to this particular sector of farming. Right. So, as I told, exam point of view, you can pick up, like I have picked up few organizations which are related with Indian agriculture is Bharatiya Kisan Sangh. This is a basically a organization which is a representative to the government for their basic requirements. Say for example, right now a few days back, people in Haryana, they were throwing milks in road in protest that milk price should be hiked and the subsidy should be decreased. So based on that, what happened? So all farmers of India cannot come to roads, right? So that is why this organization have particular representatives, right? So this is an organization which is basically organized of farmers. Similarly, we have Ministry of Agriculture, we have Indian Council of Agriculture and Research, ICAR, we have NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, and then Green Digital Forums, right? So out of this, you can go for this, like who is the Minister of Agriculture. You can go for this, who is the Indian Council of Academic Research, where this is located, which all places are there, and then NABARD. There are a lot of times where questions have popped up from NABARD, many a time. In SSC also the questions have come related to NABARD. In Bank PO as well, like this have been very repeatedly, this have been asked in banking sector, basically in IBPS and other Bank PO examinations, right? So what it is basically, so let us understand bit of NABARD. NABARD is what is the full form of NABARD? National Bank for Agriculture, national as it is written here, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, right? The headquarters of NABARD is Mumbai. Okay. Chairman of NABARD as of today is Harsh Kumar Bhanwala. Harsh Kumar Bhanwala, right? See, these are very important. This may be a very important question for upcoming banking exams, especially banking exams. Okay, because it is national bank, and in banking questions, there are many questions where definitely some or the other one question will be there where a chairman will be asked or a headquarter of a particular organization may be asked. It was basically established by B. Sivaraman Committee. Based on B. Sivaraman Committee, this was established, but the name then was not NABARD. The name then was different. That was called as ACD. B. Sivaram Committee have recommended for ACD. That is Agricultural Credit Department. Later on, which was renamed to NABARD. So it was established. When it was established in 12th July 1982. So initial corpus into this organization was 100 crore, which today is running with 6,700 crores and with an asset management of around 30,000 crore. Today the asset of NABARD is around 30,000 crores. So the initial corpus was 100 crore and have been increased to 30,000 crore with 67 crore until last year, right? And the best thing is it is 100% government share. There is no shares of any. It is not a private and public. It is 100% public. 100% shares of its government, and it have international associates like from the World Bank. Basically, this NABARD issues loans to industries like cotton industry, small scale industry, villages and rural development projects, and so on. In short, this is a bank for the agriculture, this is the bank for the farmers, this is a bank for the rural development. So government have exclusively opened this bank for this purpose, basically for the growth of agriculture and for the growth of rural development and entrepreneurship, right? So this is one of the institution, right? So there are other organizations as well where you can find the important points. Since if you keep doing this itself will take more than 3 hours, so what I have done is I have only picked the very important part. So similarly, you can find for Bharatiya Kisan Sangh, who when it was found, what was the purpose, Ministry of Agriculture, who is the minister, ICAR, when it was decided to form, and what are the advantage of this, and what all ICAR have given to society and the country, and so on, right? So similarly, few other organizations you can go for it. Like for dairy, there is a one organization. In south, there is a organization. For corn, there is a organization, and so on, so on, so on, right? So but basic purpose of coming up with a agriculture policy is first, obviously, poverty reduction. As I told, for doubling farmers' income. So doubling farmers' income means then only they can come out of this poverty. And recently there are many states. There have been many states who have been issuing loans waiver to farmers. So this have been an encouraging, though that's not that encouraging for an economy, but in farmers' point of view, it is encouraging because last to last year, there were many farmers who have attempted suicide, and have ended their life because of not able to fulfill the debts. Because in what happened is, in market there are people who lend a loan at a very high interest rate compared to government. That is the only reason government has been coming out with institutions like NABARD, where the interest rates are very, very low, which can be affordable by the farmers, and in the same time coming with loan waiver scheme, coming up with extension of loan repayment dates, and so on, right? So that is what you have to keep in mind. So the topic was, as the topic of us was on agriculture investment, I have gone beyond that, right? So similarly, you can go for much more things. Clear? I hope you understood the gist, how you should be preparing for one particular topic, right? So now we'll go to the next topic. Our next topic I have picked is a helping hand for Indian University. Here I have cutted a piece of material. I have pasted a piece of material from the newspaper where you can see Indian universities falling in the rankings. So first of all, since the topic is on Indian university, the topic have been come because recently what happened, there were few institutions. How this topic have been come is recently there are few institutions which have got IOE rank. E stands for Eminence, Institute of Eminence, right? So institutes of eminence, there are four, so sorry, somewhere 6 institutions have got this. And interestingly, all are private, like BITS Pilani, then Manipal, and similarly in this, Geo University. The highest controversy is of Geo University because Geo University have not even come in real. It is still in paper, and the attack on the government is that how Geo University without coming up have got this tag IOE, that is institution of eminence, when this institution have not yet come up and it is still there in the paper. What government have been justifying that Geo University have been given IOE based on greenfield project. In India, basically there are 3 institutions, that is IISC Bangalore, IIT Delhi, and IIT Mumbai, all technical institutions who have got this IOE tag based on their technology friendly, tech friendly and greenfield institutions. Apart from this, none of the institution in India have got the tag. So obviously it's a controversy because there have been institutions and organizations in India who are working since a long time, and they are basically ignored somewhere. Whereas Geo University, which haven't come up, but still there, the project is still there in paper, but in paper also that particular university got the tag of IOE, right? So this have been in news. So from there we picked a topic. So here when you go for that, so universities, so we have taken the common point as universities under which we have put this. The number 1 is obviously Oxford University. The yellow one is for the 2018 and this is 2017. Cambridge have done extremely well, which have leapfrogged from 4th to 2nd position. California Institute of Technology, Standard University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, right? So these are the best university in the world. Whereas it comes to India, IISc Bangalore tops. See how much we top in the whole world. Our rank is 200, right? 200 were last year. Today it have gone down to 251. Then IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, Kanpur, Kharagpur, basically all technical universities. This global ranking with the Indian Institutes IAC has been sliding. As you can see, it have slided from 201 to 251. Our rank in world is 251, and that starts with IISc Bangalore, right? So before getting into a lot of other stuff, I need to tell one thing, that 6 higher education institute, as I was telling that have got IOE status. Okay, those are IISc Bangalore, the Indian Institute of Technology Mumbai, Delhi, and the proposed Geo Institute of Reliance Foundation, right? The 6 institutions: IISc Bangalore, IIT Delhi, IIT Mumbai, BITS Pilani, right? It is in Rajasthan, Manipal in Karnataka, and the last, proposed Geo University. So these 6 have got what? IOE tag. So obviously the controversy is with Geo University because Geo University till now have not come up. And an institution which have not even come up, how that institution can be given IOE? IOE is a great tag. So the Geo Institute which is going to come up in Maharashtra, which has just being chosen in the greenfield category is among the 3 private institutions, right? These 3, Pitts Pilani, Manipal, and Geo. These 3 private institution to be granted the status of IOE. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs basically have observed that among 5,097 companies that have filed annual reports for the financial year in 2015 and 16, only 3,118 companies had made some contribution towards CSR expenditure. That is, what is telling that in 5,097 companies, out of 5,097 companies, only 3,118 companies have invested some money in line with CSR, that is corporate social research expenditure, within the organization and in institution. That is the reason why the universities are not doing well. It is very, very important to collaborate organizations and companies with colleges for a overall development, for a skill development and quality improvements in the students as well as the faculties and the organization in the college level itself. During basically during physical year 2014 and 15, this 3,139 companies have spent nearly 74%, which have come down. That is 3,139 have come down to 3,118. You can see the level of companies who are investing in CSR. Most were basically to the Prime Minister Relief Fund itself. There has been very little strategic thinking and innovation in the CSR, that is corporate social responsibilities, where corporations can play a very vital role in contributing to society, right? Because this also shows that companies in India have generally not understood the larger goals of CSR. The company should understand, if tomorrow they are going to, they need a skilled workforce, so even they need to spend money for a skilled manforce, right? Obviously. So they have to generally not understood, they have not understood the importance of CSR. They should be contributing more on universities and educations, so that even they get a handful of skilled laborers for tomorrow. While there is much that deserves attention under the CSR framework for contributing to the social sector, the fact is that higher education and universities do not need to receive significantly more attention, right? Every aspect indeed of a university's growth requires substantial financial growth. It requires substantial financial growth by different modes. So one is company is not carrying out CSR and government is somewhere spending less as required by the country. The Ministry of HRD should be working very closely, in fact, for the roadmap of this education. When we go to the funding factors in higher education, in past a report by a committee which was basically constituted by the Planning Commission. By the what? Planning Commission. Planning Commission is basically a commission which was formed by the Prime Minister, last Prime Minister, which have been later replaced with Niti Aayog, National Institution for Transforming India. Now, who is the chairman of this planning commission? The chairman is Prime Minister. So as Prime Minister have changed this to Niti, right? He is the chairman of this basically particular Niti Aayog. We call this as Niti Aayog, National Institution for Transforming India. In the past, basically, a report by a committee constituted by then Planning Commission and headed by then Chief Mentor of Infosys, Narayan Murthy, focused on the role of the corporate sector in higher education. It acknowledged that the importance of stronger private initiative and recommended steps such as free land for nearly 1,000 years, that is 999 years, 300% reduction in taxable income to companies for contributions towards boosting higher education, and 10-year multiple entry visas for foreign research scholars. Why? Because this will incredibly increase the investment in education by corporate sectors as well, and a range of reforms. This range of reforms will help a lot to education. Apart from this, the Narayan Murthy committee have also recommended 1,000 crore scholarship fund to promote greater accessibility of higher education to the underprivileged. Basically, to find a potential where there are students who are very potential to succeed, but if they are lacking because of poverty, then they should also be given an opportunity via scholarship. So a separate 1,000 crore scholarship fund should be kept aside for the underprivileged. However, these recommendations were not implemented till date. A range of reforms have been promoted in higher education, though, recognizing the universities in India need to be significantly empowered in order to achieve excellence. Right, my friends? Even you are studying in some universities. Now, what we do is, when we get along our universities, initial point of time, two things are there in mind: to get a job or to get a campus. My friend, you should not expect college to get campus to you. You should not expect college or your university to get job to you. But what you should be expecting, or what we all should be expecting from our universities, to make us skilled, to get us good teachers, right? So that we can fight for tomorrow, we can fight for our livelihood even after our college. When our foundation is not strong, so there is no point if you join any organization. First important thing one have to have is skill. There are two skills required in anything. One is domain skill, and one is generic skill, right? Domain skill is like, say for example, you are an AC engineer or you are a chartered accountant, so you should be good in your accountancy, or you are a cartographer, so you should be good in your maps. And generic, this is something which is beyond domain, which comes, here comes soft skill, here comes aptitude and reasoning, here comes etiquettes, here comes personality, and so on, so on, so on. And rather, it have seen that this factors more than domain, because it is understood that one can be trained in this domain, but coming to this, one needs a higher practice and analysis, right? So this is the important thing you have to keep in mind. There have been issue of philanthropy in higher education as well. Like Infosys have started their own 2020 program where they have started mentoring and they have put in money in philanthropists. Wipro have done a bit. There are many such organizations when we start names, but thing is there are very few. The requirement is huge, the demand is huge, and the supply is less by the companies, right? The historical evidence of public universities in India and the exclusive dependence on the government for all financial resources have contributed to limiting capacity, because there are many private, public universities which are 100% dependent on the government. So rather, it should be a contributing factor, and we should always look beyond. We should not only depend on the government, but also those organizations should be looking after much other factors, and areas, to get other factors and areas where investment can be brought in for securing a better future for the students, as well as for upcoming growth, upcoming youths who are going to be the national builder for tomorrow, right? Whereas the situation in private university is quite pathetic, because they are more focused on generating fees rather than generating skills. The very good example is today's unemployment of the degree holders. We can find a lot of engineering students, MBA students, and commerce students roaming around in market without a job. The reason is, it's not that they have a degree, the reason is they are not skilled enough, right? So definitely this private universities should be this should be given responsibilities that they should work out on skill first. Though there are schemes of India, Skill India, and so on, but this should happen in organization levels, because when they are taking a lot of money, it also becomes a responsibility for them. In the same time, it becomes a responsibility for a student to work on their skills rather than getting dependent on the universities and colleges. But keeping apart that morality, obviously being a university and an education hub, it becomes a importance for that particular organization to be best on their own, right? So the privatization of higher education has not been driven by philanthropy, but to a large extent by commercial and pro and for profit interests that do not have a symbiotic relationship with the vision, values, ethos of a universities, right? And you must agree with me. I'm sure many of you will agree with me. So higher education and universities, both private and public, by their very nature ought to be not-for-profit. They should be not-for-profit organization. Education sector should be a not-to-profit organization. But today what we see, a lot of institutions are coming up only for earning profit. They work little for the skills, they work little for the quality, but what they expect is more and more money. And that is what the education industry is getting ruined, right? And that is the reason why employment is high, and that is the reason why skill is not up to mark, right? The organizations which talks that, when organizations have been asked that why you don't campus, or why you don't take recruit people, then the companies or the organization says that today's this particular youth or the people whom you are asking to recruit do not match with the skill set required by at organization level. For this, the company should take an initiative. They should start mentoring a college. They should tie up with few colleges where they should also equally mentor and provide internship activities to students of a particular organizations. Then only things can happen in a good. So it's quite obvious that a collaboration of college as well as corporates are very, very important. At last but not the least, I would like to conclude with this Indian university that the future of Indian universities, either public or private, okay, will remain affected until and unless it comes out with a tag not for profit. Until and unless the private organization work for private, it is quite tough to come up with a quality education from. It is quite tough to expect a quality education at their end. Obviously, I'm not telling 100%. There may be exceptions. There are exceptions indeed, but the percentage is huge where the private organizations have played. Only the main focus of private universities is to churn money, right? Apart, a major legal and policy reform to promote some form of mandatory corporate social responsibility, that is CSR, was initiated through the CS. I have been talking about the CSR. So we must know that when the CSR was first pitched in, the CSR was initiated in Companies Act in 2013. CSR, corporate social responsibility, right? So this can play a very vital role for any organization, because the companies who are going for the CSR opportunities get deduction up to 300% of tax, as well as they get lot many opportunities and they get lot many favors from government as well, right? So that is how the organization should be think in line for this. Okay, so now we'll go to the next topic, role of big data in disaster management. The topic here, what I have done is I have interlinked big data with disaster management. How this big data is what? Obviously a technology of IT. Big data is all about storing data in a fashion manner, in a smart manner, or in a artificial intelligence manner, right? How it can be important? For this, I have made a cycle. I'll try to make you understand through this cycle. For disaster management, one nation have to pre-plan. If you remember, last time, some years back, Orissa had bagged a prize for preventing many people. There was a cyclone called Katrina, where winds were blowing at a minimum speed of 150 to 170 km per hour. And you know how many people were dead? 7. Though this was tragic that these 7 people died, but in a cyclone, in a huge cyclone, life of only 7%, it deserves definitely a respect that government have taken. That how the government have taken is they have pre-planned the disaster management. They have pre-planned and evacuated people to hire the coastal people to higher places. That because of that, what happened? A lot of people could be saved, and this was only done because of pre-planning. And in pre-planning, when we will add technology, okay, one technology is obviously a satellite technology where satellites will be giving information in advance. Apart from this, the technology if we use from IT, then these two things and this pre-planning together can help a nation to prevent a lot of money after disaster, rather, right? See, after disaster, the money spent by the government will be more, whereas pre-planning will save a lot of money, right? So what we have to do is this, using this big data, we should first identify the hotspots. Like if there is any epidemics in any particular area, say for example there is a disease spread, say for example a dengue is getting spreaded in one place of the city. So what happened, this big data, we will be using this big data where we'll be identifying hotspot, will forecast in advance the ground activity, will reveal what new opportunities can be used to prevent this whatever epidemic that is getting breaked. It may be a dengue break, it can be a cyclone, it can be earthquake or whatever. We need to share data accordingly so that based on that we'll get exact numbers of rehabilitation items. Say for example, when we have a data that there are going to be 100 people stranded by a particular epidemic disease or particular natural disaster, so what happened, we'll have the exact data, and this exact data will help us to reach out with that many numbers of items to be shared by them, and finally that will work us for the performance of the government, and hence we can help the country and the people in saving from disasters. So big data can play a very important role in disaster management. Basically, India and South Korea have signed agreements covering a broad range of areas, including cooperation in development of big data technologies for their diverse applications like in disaster management. And big data can play a significant role in enhancing our capabilities to manage this particular disaster management. Undoubtedly, the age of big data has opened new options, right? And you must be aware of this, like new options for natural disaster management, primarily because of varied possibilities possible in visualizing, analyzing, and predicting natural calamities, right? Basically, it will help us in visualizing, analyzing, and predicting. See how smartly we can use IT in prevention of disaster management. The benefits and importance are huge, in fact, because the benefits and importance of storing big data in disaster management will play a very significant role, will give a boost in prevention of disasters, right? And management of human bodies and animal bodies which get stranded in any disaster, right? It is basically a collection of scientific and engineering methods and tools that helps in making the best of massive amounts of available data. More precisely, communication also entails understanding and monitoring the entire body of public and will openly available communication such as messages and content that in publicly exchange on social media. So that is why hotspot we need to identify. We have to identify hotspot using this big data. We have to collect data and we have to identify them as well. The global institutions are also studying this disaster and risk, like UNDP, that United Nations Development Program, partnered with Tohoku University and Fujitsu to create a global center for disaster statistics, right? Fujitsu cloud-based ecosystem. Fujitsu have come up with a cloud-based ecosystem which captures data from variety of sources, in, including unstructured sources like social media. Big data can be trapped from social medias, high resolution satellite images, and by drones and so on, right? Like apart from this, this is not again restricted to only for identify hotspot from the social media, but we can also reap the benefit from other areas like efficient allocation of resources, like big data generated from geoinformatics and remote sensing may help to identify the gaps and makes the recommendation on where to allocate resources to mitigate the risk, which will include help the monitor, recover, focus early warnings, and assessing resilience, right? It will act as a identification of vulnerable. It can be used as a most vulnerable population for natural disaster and data of a particular community, which can be used to pursue risk-informed development. Apart connecting missing people with their families, it will also play a very vital role in reuniting people. Companies like Google, Facebook are interested in helping communities during emergency situations by reducing recovery time as well, right? So Facebook's safety check service is an example of this noble initiative, right? Safety check initiative. Remember last time we have a button where suppose a earthquake comes, you can press that particular, you can click that particular link, safety check service, where it will pop up to all your friends who are in your friend request that you are safe in particular. So this is one of our initiative which have been taken by a social media site. So similarly, internet and IT can do a lot of good things in disaster management, right? Like indirect impact of disaster. Let us talk about one indirect impact of disaster. It basically provides aid in indirect disaster impact in different way, because disaster, one requires a medical help and one requires psychological help. So both are crucial elements, and that's why crucial elements of communication is important and crucial element of data is required, right? That is why big data has that is why I believe that big data has a significant role in all phases of disaster management. Big data from sensor networks, social media, and from other sources can be made available, and it can be used, and the usefulness can be in abundance in terms of disaster management, right? Even at many places it is used in abundance. As I told, Fujitsu have come up with this cloud system. They have come up with compiling in cloud. Early warning systems for tsunami, storm, forest fire, and flood can be more accurate and reliable from this huge volumes of data. Crowdsourcing, cyber infrastructure, and cloud computing projects approach can be used to get required information for emergency management by analyzing all this big data, by checking whether family members are getting reunited or not getting reunited. So machine learning, artificial intelligence, big data can play a very vital role in this disaster management, right? So whenever we come across things, you need to, again, what all things I just told: big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cloud computing. This can play a very vital role. This can play a very vital role in the progress of disaster management, right? So this is one of though these are the very important things. These are the very important innovations of today in the field of service and IT, where actually it can be used in disaster management, right? So the topic was on big data and disaster management. So I have basically classified the pros of the the prawns of this big data in in disaster management, right? I hope I'm clear on this. Now, the next topic we will be moving in is India as stakeholder in Korean peace, right? India a stakeholder in Korean peace. Here, if you see, like I have taken a snap of this picture recently. This is Moon Jae-in. Okay, he is basically what Moon Jae-in here already have mentioned. He is a president of Korean. Which Korean? South Korean. Okay. So India is stakeholder in Korean peace. Korean peace means Korea is basically divided into two. The upper part is North Korea. The south part is South Korea. I'll come up with a map. But as of now, let us talk on this clip. Then later on, I'll move to the next part. Recently, Korean President Moon Jae-in have come to India where many important MOUs were signed and many discussion, very important matters were taken in place. Okay. As you can see in the clip, hand in hand, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India is a stakeholder in peace process and not Korean passion. Why he said this? Why India is a stakeholder in Korean peace? I'll come to that little late. Let me complete first these points. Okay. Agreement to explore tripartite deals for development programs in third countries. So what they are doing is they are trying to combinedly invest in a third country. Agreement to discuss training program in Afghanistan. Basically, the main agenda is to improve and to bring out a learned population in Afghanistan. Okay, then only the development in Afghanistan can happen, right? So obviously it requires assistance. So India have been trying to reach many countries to get in hand to help Afghanistan. Agreement to upgrade the comprehensive economic participation agreement. This is a forum where they are looking together to improve in negotiation. Still that is on. It's not completed. Set target of 50 billion trade by 2030. Presently we have only 20. Okay. The major contributors of South Korea are Samsung and LG. MOU on railway design and safety research was signed. MOU on cooperation in telecom and ICT services. MOU on Princess Suriratna Memorial Project in Ayodhya. South Korea will be sending a cultural delegation to UP. Right? Questions can be asked, like the options will be which of the things have been signed by the South Korean president. Right? So this is what you can remember. Now, how India is a stakeholder in Korean peace. To understand this, let me go to the map first. As I told, whenever we go for the any national, international, we should be very thorough with the map. This is India, right? This is India. India, we are surrounded with three oceans. Arabian Ocean in the left, Indian Ocean in the bottom, in the south, in the east, Bay of Bengal, right? Now, when we go on the right side, right of China, we see this, right? Between them, between Japan and Korean, there is a sea which divides, and that sea is called Sea of Japan. Here, you see this is North Korea and South Korea. So when it is North Korea and South Korea, I'll come back again why it is a stakeholder, but before that, we need to understand, first, get the proper data, proper feedbacks for this. Like North Korea, who is the president of North Korea? President of North Korea is Kim Jong-un. What is the capital of North Korea? Pyongyang. Pyongyang. What is the currency of North Korea? North Korea, Korean won. Whereas in case of South Korea, the president is Moon Jae-in. in which you have seen in the pic in before the slide before this. The capital of South Korea is Seoul, right? Whereas the currency is South Korean won, right? So this is a basic detail you should understand. Now coming back, why India is a stakeholder? Basically, India have been, when there was a war, where there was a Cold War between US and North Korea, US was again and again threatening North Korea to wipe out because North Korea is practicing nuclear tests. In the same time, North Korea was threatening US that if something goes wrong, if US tortures them or US try to fight with them, they will launch nuclear arsenal to them as well as to Japan. So Japan, US and South Korea, these were the three countries who were much more horrified by the actions of North Korea. So during this period, these three countries were against this particular nation, North Koreans. But out of this, US was more rhetoric, like US wanted North Koreans to be made a lesson. They wanted this Kim Jong-un, who is the present president, should come down because he's basically a monarchy leader. There is no democracy in the country. The life of the people over there is pathetic. So US wanted the president to come down of the throne. So US have tried a lot, but what happened? Because of that, North Korea have become more aggressive and have started testing more nuclear sites and exploring more nuclear site and nuclear weapons, and obviously it's a harm to all world. So what India have done is, India in between was trying his best in basically proposing to have meeting with the North Korean country. India was against any actions from both sides. India was not against US. India was not against North Korea. What India was asking them to sit together and discuss. And India have somewhere, though very cold in nature, have tried convincing countries to come for a meeting and end the rivalry. And that is what India have today, is taking the claim that India have taken a stakeholder in Korean peace, when finally US and North Korea have decided to be together, sit together and talk together and finalize the differences between them, right? Here, this Korean peace, even along with India, the South Korean leader Moon Jae-in have also played a very vital role of going out of his comfort zone and had tried to build peace between two countries, because moreover the Koreans were same some years back, right? So that is all about. So India is a stakeholder in Korean peace because India had tried to convince countries to come forward for talks rather than playing nuclear weapons, playing nuclear, right? So that is how it is. So now the point to be taken is, obviously, where it is situated. It is situated where the sea to the east of Korea is Sea of Japan, to the west and to the southwest is East China Sea, right? Apart from this, since I have discussed, see, basically what the topic here, it was stakeholder in Korean peace. So for both North Korean and South Korean, because South Korea, US is a friend to South Korea. Okay, they have been merged with South Korean to provide help to South Korean to fight with North Korea. There are few things of North Korea I wanted to share with you. I think you will be amazed hearing to this. And if you are really sleeping, you will again get up on your boots. Here, some facts of North Korea which I want to share is, first, this is the only country, I believe, where marijuana is legal. Marijuana is considered as a medicine. Marijuana is considered as a good thing rather than as a drug. This is world's only nation to capture and retain a US Navy. North Korea is the only nation which have captured a US Navy ship till date. They don't go through the Western calendar. They have their own calendar. They have world's largest stadium, which have a capacity to hold nearly 150,000 people altogether. Some weird things are like haircuts are also approved by the supreme leader. The president approves the haircut. That is, there are some number of haircuts in the country. If you're living in the country, the people who are living in the country are bound to have those haircuts. They cannot have haircuts beyond that. In many years, only 2 South Koreans have moved to North Korea, whereas 23,000 North Koreans have moved to South Korea. Why? Because South Korea is more democratic, whereas North Korea is obviously it's a monarch. Kim Il-sung scammed. Kim Il-sung, who was Kim Il-sung? Kim Il-sung was basically the grandfather of present president. What he did is he bought 1,000 Volvo 144 sedans from Sweden. Even he didn't pay money back to Sweden. Death penalties can be levied for distributing pornography. If someone is found distributing pornography, even watching South Korean movies, and even if Bible is found in anyone's home, then they will be given death penalties. Okay, so this is one more fact. It is 100% illegal to wear jeans in North Korea. No one can wear jeans. Only one candidate to vote. In the country of North Korea, there is only one candidate. Everyone have to vote. But the candidate who stands for the president is only one, and that is Kim Jong-un. They don't celebrate birthdays on July 18. No one is allowed to celebrate birthday on this particular days. July 8 and December 8, December 17. Why? On July 8, Kim Il-sung was died. He was the grandfather of the present president of North Korea. Whereas December 17, his father, Kim Jong-tu, Kim Jong-tu has died. So that is the only reason these two dates are called as saddest days, and everyone in North Korea are forced to cry. You should not celebrate birthday, and you should come to a common place and all of you should cry. Otherwise, a legal action will be taken against you. If that is this is also one fact of North Korea, right? There are many more. In fact, North Korea has only 3 TV channels. Out of these 3 TV channels, one channel only runs throughout the weekend, and other 2 on weekend, and other 2 on weekends. 1 on weekdays and 2 on weekends. Out of this one which runs always keep on talking about the president, the good thing of president only, so that people should see him as a god. South Korean soap operas are smuggled. What North Korea do is they smuggle South Korean directors to their country for entertainment, as they lack artists in their country. Pyongyang is the capital. Pyongyang is the capital of North Korea, and is only for elite groups. Only elite group people can live in there. Okay, so only loyal, trustworthy, and healthy citizens can live there, according to the Kim's kingdom. Average earning of the people over there is less than $5. Now, if you multiply 70 rupees, 5 7 ja 350. So in Indian rupees, 350 rupees per month. This is the average income of North Koreans. And even there are cases, and even there are there have been justification for, and have found that there are many people who live there by eating grass, by eating rice and corn, because they don't have enough money to spend in food. Government permission is required to own a computer as well as to a vehicle. Being a citizen, the maximum you can do is you can only purchase a cycle. You are not allowed to purchase a vehicle until and unless you are a government employee and you have worked with the military. North Korea has just 1024 IP addresses, whereas you can see how many are there in US. You can see the comparison. 3 generations of punishment policy. Yes, this is one of the toughest thing. It means if you had made a mistake, you are going to jail. Your father is going to jail. Your father, mother, everyone in his generation is going to go jail. Your grandfather, grandmother, all, they are also going to go over jail. So there is a 3 generation of punishment policy. Say for example, you are married and you have kids. If you had done anything wrong, you will go to jail. Your son and daughter will go to jail, and their son and daughters will also go to jail for your punishment, for your any wrong activity, right? So even this is one of a weird fact of North Korea. 6 days a week is a compulsory work day, and 7th day you have to voluntarily work. It means the working period is all 7 days. They have a propaganda city. North Korea has a propaganda city. Basically, North Korea have built a city to attract South Korean. There is a city where no one lives. They have only made because from South Korean hills that city can be seen. So they have made looked attractive so that more South Korean people can come. Basically, otherwise there is no one who lives in that city. Most ordinarily, North Korean, as I have already told, they eat corn rice as the staple food. There are total 25,544 kilometers, 554 kilometers in road, but only 724 kilometers have been paved till date. Got the point? So those are the few facts of North Korea. Since our topic was on India and Korea, that's the only reason there are few facts of North Korea which I thought that you would be not knowing. So I thought of sharing those things with you, right? Though things have changed now with North Korea, what North Korea is claiming now is North Korea is claiming that they want to work for the economy. The president want to work for the economy of the country. The president want the prosperity of the country, and so on, so on, so on. So that's a different fact, but till now the things are as it is, the facts are as it is. Okay, so as I was telling, these are the haircuts. The president signs this many haircuts. No one is allowed to have any other haircuts than this. They are bound to have, they have to select any one haircut out of this. No other haircuts. Yeah. Apart from this person is King Il-sung, who is the grandfather of present president of North Korea, and this is King Jong-tu, who is the son of this particular person, and his son King Jong-un is the present president. Okay, so why I have put this picture is every citizen, every household, every shops should have these 2 pictures hanged in the walls. If any house, any shop found without these photos in the wall, they will be prosecuted and they will be jailed, and a very high legal action will be taken against them. You got the point? So those are the few things, few facts which I thought I should be sharing with you, so that even you should be aware of this. Clear? So this was all about this particular topic which I have taken, that is India's stakeholder of core input. So you can see how where I have moved the topic, right? It's all about, you can even link many more things. This is a minimum thing which I have linked together, right? Now the next one, India's forest cover. What data source? So I have captured the data from newspaper itself. The green cover. You can see this other states. This is Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, Orissa, and Andhra Pradesh. And in the northeastern, there are few states who where the forestry area have increased basically in the south, whereas in the northeastern parts, here the forest area are decreasing day by day because people are now opening up. They are the industrialization is increasing a bit. Basically, the small scale industries as well as more forests are getting cleared for cultivation and for housing purposes, right? So in northeastern, the forests are decreasing, where these states as of now are performing really good because now forest cover are increasing under the government schemes, under the government, state government and central government schemes. Okay, where there is a forest, what happened? No, again there is a problem over this forest. There is forest fire. Now, why forest fire is important to us? Forest fire is important to us because whenever there is a fire in the forest, lot of assets are burned. One is obviously naturally the environment get polluted because of the smokes. The flora and fauna who are there in the forest get destroyed, right? The flora and fauna get destroyed. Apart from this, uh, the greenery goes out. It becomes a blatant and non-fertile land for a long time because there will be no trees or nothing. So obviously this is a harm. Since there is a forest here, there is a forest, it comes to my mind green, right? So basically what I have done is I have tried to link things. I have go a little beyond because you have to be smart. You don't have to do only things which are directly, but you have to do things which are indirect as well. Okay, so I'll tell what I have linked with this. So these are the top 10 largest forest state. Uttarakhand, you can see in the north, Uttarakhand. What is the capital of Uttarakhand? See, this is also important. Dehradun, right? IMA is there. Indian Military Academy. Then Madhya Pradesh, capital of Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal. Maharashtra, capital of Maharashtra, Mumbai. Karnataka, capital of Karnataka, Bangalore. Then we have Tamil Nadu, capital Chennai. Andhra Pradesh, upcoming capital Amravati. As of now, the both of them share one common capital, Hyderabad. But Andhra Pradesh is going to come up with their own capital, Amravati. Orissa, Bhubaneswar. Chhattisgarh, Raipur, right? Coming to Assam, what is the capital of Assam? This is Dispur. Assam is Dispur. Arunachal Pradesh. What is Arunachal Pradesh? Kohima. Itanagar, sorry. Itanagar. Then we have Nagaland, Kohima. Manipur is Imphal, Mizoram is Aizawl. See, northeastern states capital. Once I remember a capital was asked in the bank or SSC examination, the capital was asked for Mizoram, right? Many a time what happened, no? We don't remember this northeastern capitals. I do remember, I mean many of us don't remember. So we should be learning this as well because those are, but thing is those are very beautiful states and we need to remember the capital of such beautiful states. Alright all. This is not in the northeast, it is in the upper side of West Bengal. Arunachal Pradesh. We have Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Meghalaya. These are called Seven Sisters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So this. These are called as seven sisters, right? Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, and so on, right? So the cap and Sikkim is on the north of West Bengal. Sikkim capital is Gangtok. If you don't know, I'll request you to write, because this is our country and you all have the fundamental duty to know the capitals, right? But before this, let me clear all. Capital of Jammu and Kashmir, if you don't know, Srinagar. Himachal Pradesh capital is Shimla. Capital of Punjab is Chandigarh. Haryana capital also Chandigarh. Chandigarh is a common capital for both. Rajasthan capital is Jaipur, the pink city of India. Capital of Gujarat is Gandhinagar, not Ahmedabad. Okay, it is Gandhinagar. Then Uttar Pradesh is Lucknow. Bihar is Patna. Jharkhand is Ranchi. West Bengal is Kolkata. Right? Anything else is left? Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Trivandrum. Right? So now we'll come back. So capital of Sikkim is Gangtok. Capital of Assam, Dispur. Capital of Arunachal Pradesh, Itanagar. Capital of Nagaland, Kohima. Capital of Imphal. Capital of Mizoram, Aizawl. Capital of Tripura, and capital of Meghalaya. Capital of Meghalaya is Shillong, whereas capital of Tripura is Agartala, right? See, we are doing forest, I do understand, but the reason of telling this is when we are going to something, no, we should be knowing this, because this have been sometime asked in exams. I have remember it was asked for Manipur or Mizoram. So anyway, since we are talking on forest, there are basically 6 types of forest: tropical forest, temperate forests, coniferous forest, rainforest, Amazon forest, bamboo forest, and taiga forest. So you can see, so this is basically in international levels. In India, basically we have these 6 types of forest: rain evergreen forest, which we can find in where? Western Ghats. Where are Western Ghats? This is India, right? So in India, so Western Ghat is this place beside Arabian Sea. This is Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal. So rain evergreen forest are in the Western Ghats. Tropical wet evergreen forest, tropical wet, it is near the Western Ghats only, and even it is there in Assam, in Kerala and Assam. Tropical deciduous forest, Gujarat and Rajasthan. Tropical deciduous forest means which are not rain evergreen, as simple. Broad leaf deciduous forest in Himalaya. This is Himalaya range, right? Then coniferous and deciduous forest in UP, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. Mangrove forest in the coastal area, that is in Sundarbans. Right? Sundarban is a delta, highest fertile delta of highest fertile land in India is Sundarban. Okay, so mangrove forest can be found over there. So this is what? This is the Himalaya range. You can see here. This is desert. This is obviously Himalaya again. This is the Deccan Plateau. This green line is Western Ghat, whereas purple line is Eastern Ghat. Last, I remember question was asked that which all states the Western Ghat touches, or which are states are there along the Western Ghat. So it is a bit of Gujarat is there, Maharashtra is there, Karnataka is there, Kerala is there, and obviously a part of Tamil Nadu. You can see here Munnar is there in Western Ghat, Ooty is there in Western Ghat, Kudermukh is there in Western Ghat, Panaji on the western, Panaji is quite closer, not exactly in Panaji. Sindhu Durga, right? So you can see this is what? This is the Western Ghat. This green color on the eastern, here it is Arabian Sea. Arabian Sea. Basically this green part we have tried to show over here. So you can see here 1,64,280 square kilometers, right? The Western Ghat, and it captures a lot of flora and fauna. In fact, this is narrower, though this Western Ghat is narrower when compared to Eastern Ghats. So the Western Ghats cover 1,64,280 square kilometers. It goes across Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Right? Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Right? So this is one of the questions which was asked. Similarly, when we are going for Western Ghats, it is always advantage that you should be learning Eastern Ghat as well. So Eastern Ghat is along the coast of Bay of Bengal. This is Eastern Ghat. So I have elaborated here. This is Bay of Bengal. So you can see it starts bit from West Bengal, right? West Bengal, and the other side here in the border of West Bengal. Here it is Jharkhand. This side, this is Jharkhand. This part is West Bengal. So a bit of Jharkhand, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, bit of Karnataka as well, and Tamil Nadu. So you can see here Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. They both have Western Ghat, bit of Western Ghat and bit of Eastern Ghat, right? So that is how basically I have taken. So you can bring up your own links. So there is no hard and fast rule. Then the next topic I have put is India's GDP, double GDP, digit GDP growth. Here basically I have tried to come up. Only thing you have to, what I believe you need to understand is what is GDP. GDP is gross domestic production. It is a simple calculation which is found by the consumption, then investment, spending, plus export minus import. So in simple, this calculation is found. As of now, the GDP growth of the country is 7.7%. What does it mean? It means if last year India have earned 100 rupees, it have worked for and had a value of 100 rupees. This year India is at 117.7. Basically the growth has gone to 7.7%. Actually it is again projected. It was sometime back, it was 6.3% when demonetization and GST were implemented back to back. The GDP have gone down to 6.3%. Now you must be thinking that 7.7% is very, very less. Yes, it is less when compared to 100, but our GDP, our GDP total income is more than $7 million trillion, right? So obviously 7.7 is for 100 rupees. When you go for crores, lakhs and arab of dollars, obviously increases or more. So obviously it matters a lot, right? So here what I have done is I have taken a pic of years where I have mentioned the points which you should be understanding. One is obviously the GDP of now. It always keeps changing. So whenever you go through the newspaper, you should always see that what is the GDP for the day. The GDP keeps on fluctuating. Basically quarterly it fluctuates. Per capita, India rank is 139. Okay, and India contributes 4.19% to the world economy. So world's fastest growing economy in 2020 is India. Per capita income will increase to $2,500 on an average. The total income when we divide to the population, total income per capita. What is this per capita? Per capita is basically total income divided by total population. So on an average, each person gets this. So GDP to reach 3.5 trillion in 2020. So this will be our GDP. Among top 3 global GDP ranking, India will be among top 3, like China, US, and Russia. YOY GDP growth year on year. YOY means year on year GDP growth rate of a minimum of 7% is expected till 2020. Industry sector contributes nearly 35% of GDP. Right? Those are the few facts you should know. Here I have taken with a pie chart with the help of pie chart. In GDP, we make a earning of 65% from services. Services means IT, banking, and tourism. Whereas industries, obviously, you know what is industry. Agriculture and allied activities, 15%. So all these are contributing factors for India's GDP. If you cut any one, it will hamper a lot. But the thing is, beautiful thing is that we earn more on services. That is on IT, banking, and tourism. Basically, out of this, IT and tourism. In these two again, IT is the highest. Okay. But though this is a percentage, but the employment share, the employment in the sectors, you can find the maximum employment is on the agriculture sector. That is the only reason in the starting topic of our of today in the agriculture, I have told that agriculture should be given more importance. Anyway, coming back, agriculture have 53% of contribution in case of employment share. Manufacturing got 11%. Non-manufacturing 11%, that is banking and all, and services, IT and all, have only 25%. See here. Here, agriculture GDP is only 15%, but the contribution is 54%. So it means definitely we have to work on doubling the farmers' production and income. Yeah, good. And finally, the last topic for today. Focus on simplifying the GST structure. Though GST have been in force from 1st July 2017, but year on year, since again we are in the month of July, right? Last year July GST was implemented. So again today, recently in July, again the news popped on that how the GDP is doing and what is the importance of GST, right? So regularizing, you can see here the pictures clarify a lot. The purpose of GST was to remove the cascading tax like excise, VAT, and so on. So it was a problem for the organization to pay multiple taxes, to do a lot of documentation, and finally to waste a lot of time in that. Higher threshold of registrations was found. Composition of small and business have also came into ambit. It is made simple, online, lesser compliances compared to early. E-commerce, it's a defined treatment for e-commerce. Increased efficiency in logistics because tolls are now free. The trucks have no more to wait in line, right? Because they will be carrying with e-way bill, right? Which are again under GST. Regulating the unorganized sectors. It's a long time. The sectors which were unorganized and have cheated taxes, even they have also come in the ambit. The impact of GST on the Indian economy, you can see here, there are divisibles. Sector that gain with GST are cement, consumer durable, FMCG, pharmaceuticals, automobiles, capital goods, IT, banking, and services. Whereas that lose GST is media, textile, telecom, and metals. The one which are not under GST is petroleum, entertainment, alcohol, stamp duty, and electricity. These all are under states. Central government don't play anything here. State government imposes the tax. Like recently, Kumar Swamy, the Chief Minister of H.D. Kumaraswamy, the Chief Minister of Karnataka, have given a loan waiver to farmers by imposing taxes on these other products, right? So why? Because those are the things which are there with states. There are basically three models of GST. Central GST, that is called a CGST, state GST, SGST, and dual GST. So basically, when you get a GST copy, you'll find two things. If it is 18%, so it will be something like this. Say for example, you have paid something, the total amount is 900, and say the service is 18%. So CGST 9%, SGST 90%. Together, this is 18%. Got my point? So that is how they charge it. CGST is basically levied by the center. State GST is basically levied by the state, whereas dual GST is levied by center and states concurrently. If it is only on states, it is SGST. If it is the products are getting transferred to out of state, then CGST will come in picture. If it is a national product, then obviously both. Benefits, obviously, it helps in decreasing inflation because the government get a proper taxes. Like recently, government have got around 94,000 crores from GST. Ease of business, because the business companies don't have to go for a lot of documentation work and don't have to pay differently excise, VAT and all. Decreases black transactions because it brings transparency within information and technology. More informed customers, more informed consumer, and finally we become a make in India. And because of this GST, where ease of doing business in 2013, India was 134. Even last year, GST got included, right? In 2017. Then the rank of India was 130 in doing easiness of doing a business. That when a company comes to India, how easy that company will get to do that. So today we stand at 100. So definitely there are some glitches and hitches, which are definitely government is trying to patch it, but definitely it's a benefit for all, and for near future and in coming future it will work out for a better country, right? So that we will working accordingly. So with this, I will conclude today's class, and I would like to thank you all and repeat again, the one who want to shine like a sun first need to burn like a sun. So thank you all for watching me and having spent time with me. Have a great day. Bye.